Welcome everyone, and thanks for being with us for today's webinar, Hassle-Free Remote Access Without Java, brought to you by Raritan. A reminder that this webinar is being recorded. You'll receive an email from us within a couple of days with the link to check out the recording on demand. Also, there's a Q&A box on your screen. When you submit a question, it'll disappear from your box and queue up on our side. But don't worry, we have it, and we'll ask those questions at the end. There's also a live chat, so jump in and have a conversation with your fellow IT pros. Also, be sure to check out the handout section for some links to get some more information. So let's get started. Our presenter today is Richard Dominack, Director, Product Manager at Raritan. Richard is responsible for KVM and remote access systems at Raritan Computer. An industry veteran, Richard has held a variety of product management, marketing, and business development positions at major telecommunication firms, as well as innovative startups in the data, networking, and wireless software areas. He has spoken widely at conferences and written articles for industry trade magazines. Richard has an MBA from Columbia University and an MS in Computer Science from Purdue University. So Richard, I'll hand it to you to get started.
Great. Thanks, David. Hello, everybody. Thanks for your time today. I'm really happy to be speaking to you. So as the title indicates, this webinar is going to discuss Java in the context of remote management, so remote management to access IT equipment. So where did this talk come from? Basically, whenever I go to trade shows or speak to customers, there's always a number of people who come to me and ask about Java, that they're having problems with it or that their security department won't let them use it anymore and looking for alternatives. Over the past few years, Java has been one of our biggest complaints. I think it has soured customers on remote management solutions that have used it and kept people from using remote management. So due to this feedback, we've done a great deal of work on alternative solutions, and also Java itself has evolved and improved over time. So this talk will walk us through the history, current state of affairs, as well as some future developments to look forward to. In general, we are in a good place at this point with many options, more secure systems, and I think more to come in the future. So we'll move on to the next slide here. Okay, so this is our roadmap for the presentation and the webinar. So first, start out by introducing Raritan and our parent company, Legrand. We'll speak about remote management in general, both for servers and computer devices, as well as networking equipment via serial console servers. We'll talk about the role of Java in these types of solutions, what some of the pain points are, and then we'll look at some Java-free and also improved Java solutions that Raritan has available. Finally, we'll talk about some future developments that should further improve the situation, and then take your questions. So many of you may be familiar with Raritan. We've been in the industry for 30 years, even more of that. Our parent company is Legrand, who's big in the data center markets. Recently, Legrand acquired Server Technology, also known as ServerTech. So today, Raritan and Server Technology have joined forces, and we are now the data center power and control division of Legrand. These are the types of solutions that we offer for the data center, basically remote power control and other types of solutions, as well as remote management. So this talk, of course, will focus on remote management. Okay, so here's a slide that I routinely use to introduce remote management, and it's a very simple idea and solution. Basically, you have an administrator or user, and as you can see on the left side of the slide, can be an IT administrator, a data center manager, a network administrator, a lab manager, or regular users who might be engineers, developers, or testers, and they want to remotely use or manage different types of equipment. So IT equipment, could be computer equipment, could be networking equipment as shown on the right side of the slide. And basically what remote management does is it allows the administrator or user to access and control this equipment over some type of network. So it could be over some type of IP or TCP/IP technology, such as LAN or WAN, could be over companies' intranet, internet, or it could be over some type of cabling. But that's basically at a high level what remote management does. Okay, here are some of the remote management functions in a little bit more detail. We start on the left hand of the slide over here with KVM over IP switches, and what they allow the user to do is to access and control servers over an IP network. So IP networking is great. It allows you to connect over your local area network, over a wide area network, even over the internet with a VPN. On the right side of the slide, we have Serial over IP, which is called a Serial console server, and this performs a similar function, but it's typically used to access networking equipment. It could be used for a Unix or Linux server, even a Windows server, if you're going to manage that equipment via a serial port. Okay, centralized remote management is the ability to connect to work through, say, the KVM over IP switch and Serial over IP switch to access that equipment and to do that from a single system. Another related technology is the ability to make use of an intelligent rack PDU. That is a PDU connected again to the IP network, and using these remote management functions with a PDU that can do outlet switching to be able to power on or off the equipment. So all of these features can work together through the centralized remote management. So this slide shows the different KVM over IP use cases. Starting from the left, remote access and control. So this gives you the keyboard, video, and mouse control so that you can control the equipment, and gives you access over LAN, WAN, or even the internet. The type of access that you get is called out of band, and that's because you have a direct hardware connection to that equipment. That also gives you BIOS level access so that you can access the system at the BIOS level. Virtual media is an awesome set of technologies that allow you to connect remote media such as USB and hard drives, DVDs, and ISO image, and remotely mount them on a server. So you can use that to do things like remotely install software, transfer files back and forth, and even boot an OS. So certain customers and certain companies need to make use of dynamic applications and broadcast applications. So high performance KVM supports those types of applications. And you could think of it just the ability to access and work with video applications. That's another type of capability that you can get. And remote power control, to be able to easily power on and off equipment. And this can be useful if say, a server has hung and you want to reboot it to bring it back up. This next slide shows the high-level use cases and features for the Serial console server. So the Serial console server is similar to KVM over IP in terms of working over IP and giving you the ability to connect over IP to the equipment. But this equipment is managed through the Serial port, which typically uses the RS-232 protocol, and you manage that equipment using a CLI or command line interface, basically typed commands and scripts. So it gives you a similar type of out-of-band access with a direct hardware connection to the equipment. It also has a cool feature where you can monitor system and kernel consoles coming from that equipment and get a permanent connection and logging of that equipment. Both sets of features, both Serial over IP and KVM over IP, allow access control and logging, so you can basically set up policies to restrict people to access the equipment that they are authorized for, as well as to log their access so that you know who is accessing what and when. And then another capability for these products are to support, again, the remote power control in case you want to power up or down equipment. Okay, this slide shows the benefits of remote management. So if you're responsible for servers, it allows you to keep those servers up and running to give you that fast BIOS level access from wherever you are over your IP network to be able to fix problems and restore service. You can use and manage computers from anywhere, basically over the LAN with your laptop or your PC, equipment at other sites if you have a wide area network, and even from home. Many of our customers have VPN access into their companies, and that can be used to work out of hours, at nights or weekends, right, to deal with any unexpected issues which people really appreciate. Using remote management and a centralized management system, you can access and manage hundreds or even thousands of computers. We have some customers that use this and have 5,000 or more different servers and computers connected into the centralized management system, and then you can access them basically from your desk or wherever your network takes you. We also have customers who like the ability to have multiple users to connect to a computer or server at the same time for debugging or troubleshooting or training. Everything is logged, and there are secure connections to the equipment, so security is increased. And I mentioned the emergency access, that you can connect over a VPN. We also have capabilities to connect over a modem if your primary network is not available. Okay, so let's delve into this a little bit deeper. So this is browser-based KVM over IP access, where we have a user here at their PC or laptop, and we have servers, let's say, in a server room. So I connect a dongle, we call it a computer interface module, directly into the keyboard, video, and mouse ports on the server. So that gives you that direct hardware connection to the server. And then you connect that dongle via Cat5 cable into the KVM over IP switch. So the KVM over IP switch is connected to your local area network, to where have the gray box with the network connection. So the switch will send server video on to the user, and the user can send keyboard and mouse commands through the switch to control the server. So in terms of how this works, the user would launch a web browser, say on their laptop. That web browser would run a KVM over IP application. When the user wants to connect to a server, something called a KVM client would get launched. So this is just would be I guess an applet that's launched, and the user can do the detailed interaction with the server. So a browser plugin is used to launch that client, and that client will often use the Java platform. And the Java platform gives the resources and the ability to handle server video, as well as keyboard and mouse control and virtual media and other types of functions that the KVM over IP switch provides. So let's look at Java in a little more detail. And the cool thing about it is, if you look at the diagram on the right, you can have a single Java application that runs in different environments, so different operating systems like Windows, Linux, Mac OS, and can run on different types of computers by different manufacturers. So each platform would have its own version of the Java runtime environment. Developers like Raritan can have a single application that runs in multiple browsers and multiple environments. So it is a kind of an amazing type of technology that's very beneficial. So it's very powerful. It gives you the video processing, the virtual media that I mentioned, audio, security features, and it works in a web-based and an IP environment. So it supports multiple web browsers, multiple computer manufacturers, multiple operating systems, and the different versions. So developers can write a single application that runs in many different environments. So that sounds really, really great. So what's the issue? So I mentioned the plugin, and the plugin, there was an NP API plugin that was used to launch plugins for Java, Flash, and other types of applets. And it was a very old technology, and the browser stopped supporting it because it wasn't considered secure anymore. That was kind of an issue, because you know, these applets rely on that. Java started changing to deal with some of the security issues, and then started forcing Java updates where it would automatically update for the user. Some of these security updates broke certain applications, right, where you know, the application relied on a feature, it wasn't considered secure anymore, and you know, it stopped being supported. Sometimes certain applications required a specific Java version. So one application wanted this version, one application wanted that version, and that created issues for the customer. There were different compatibility issues and security issues between different browsers, and then some security departments kind of forbade people to even use Java. So this is kind of a painful process that we all went through. I think the result is good that we're at a point now where Java is a more secure technology, but it did sour a lot of people going through this process. And then as a result of this, so if you're relying on older systems, be it for remote management or other, and they haven't been updated, they may not even work now because some of the Java features may be relied upon from those applications. So it is important that for programs that you're using that use Java, that you update them. Okay, so we're going to go through a little quiz here. So people could click on the answer here. Over the past few years, has Java been an issue for you? So it has for me. So I will click yes on that, so people can click on that to see. And okay, 100%. That's good. So basic. Oh no, we're still going here. So at this point, 73%, 68%. So, a fair majority of people have had that issue. So, okay. All right. So here are some results here of that. So it's a majority, a little over 2/3. So it's kind of been my expectation. Okay, so now there are alternative technologies that can be used. So Microsoft has a kind of a similar type of technology called the .NET framework, which is available for different Windows systems. So we'll talk about that a bit. That is a technology that we do use and make use of. Also, browsers themselves have advanced over the years. So there's HTML5 type technologies for more sophisticated applications running in browsers, and JavaScript, which is kind of the scripting language, or one of the scripting languages used in browsers, has become more powerful and with more capabilities and better performance. So Java itself has come up with some new architectures. There's Java Web Start, which is also a newer technology that we make use of, and then there are other Java architectures that are coming out. Okay, so what I'm going to go through is some of our recent solutions, both non-Java solutions that we have, as well as enhanced and improved Java solutions. I'll just go through this to quickly go through and show you what we've done and what some of our newer solutions are. Okay, so I mentioned the Microsoft Windows .NET framework, which is we have a KVM client based on that called AKC. This provides full-featured KVM over IP access without Java. It runs on Windows platforms, and basically the .NET framework comes with most Windows platforms, so it's kind of automatically there for you. It basically has the same features and performance as the Java version. It's been very robust and secure, and it uses the standard Microsoft browser. So if you're on a Windows platform, it's a great tool. So here's what it looks like in general. A lot of these clients kind of all look the same. There's a window that shows video from the server, and you can move the mouse around and click on things. There's a set of menus at the top that give you settings for, say, keyboard, video, and mouse options. The virtual media function that I mentioned, audio, smart card, and remote power control, and then there's a set of icons. So they basically they all kind of look the same and have similar features. So for this client, it's full featured, has all the features that the Java version has. It's very high performance, but as it uses the Microsoft library, it only runs on Windows. Okay, so the next client that we have is the HTML KVM client, or HKC. This is another Java-free technology. Provides KVM over IP access without Java. Now this one runs in the browser, so it doesn't require an external technology like Java or .NET. It makes use of something called JavaScript, and JavaScript, despite the name, is not Java. So it's a totally different technology, right? It runs in the browser. It's kind of a standard technology that's been supported in Java for years. As such, it works in all the different browsers. It supports virtual media and audio, and it works by itself or together with our command center, which is our centralized management system. So it's a great newer technology. It's about a year old. This is what it looks like, the window here, and again, it's got the features across the top and the icons that you can use. So it's JavaScript based, not Java. It's multi-platform and works in multiple browsers. So those were two KVM over IP technologies. This is for the Serial console server, which is for your serial kind of networking, Cisco Brocade type devices. So we have a Java-free HTML Serial client called HSC, and it's basically the same type of technology, and but just supports the serial type devices. Okay, so now this is an upgraded Java-based solution. So if you if you have Java running on your laptop or PC, you can use this. It's BKCS. It's full-featured KVM over IP, high performance, works on multiple platforms and browsers, and uses this Java Web Start technology to launch it. Shows what the virtual KVM client looks like, and again, it's Java-based, full-featured, high performance. It's a great, secure, modern Java solution. Okay, now this is a different type of solution. So this is our user station. So this is a hardware appliance. Basically, it's a hardened kind of Linux appliance that you can use for remote management. It's typically used in labs, studios, or control rooms. Right, some area where a person goes to work. Could be in the data center, could be in a server room. So someone would sit down and go to work there, and where you don't want to have a PC or a laptop, is your high performance KVM over IP access, and it allows you to access servers connected to many KVM over IP switches. It's typically used in like broadcast type industry, or some type of control room or NOC. So it's a great solution. Okay, a nice slide here show how it works. So it would typically sit on a desk somewhere in like I said, a lab or studio, something like that. Connected to 1 or 2 monitors, keyboard and mouse, optional audio. Could connect virtual media drives into it, so a person would sit down, do their work, connect over LAN WAN to our Dominion KX3 switches, and then access servers. So different type of solution, but for a particular environment. Okay, this is a new solution that we just released. So it's for our centralized management system called Command Center. It's our desktop administration client for Windows. So it's an installed application on the user's PC or laptop. So browser isn't required, no Java is required. It actually uses Java, but it's an embedded Java. So that the user never sees this, doesn't need to load Java on the machine. We use Java kind of like a programming environment and development environment that's kind of hidden away. So this is kind of a cool feature. Gives you KVM over IP, serial over IP, and centralized management features. Kind of how it works. So you install this on your desktop. No browsers required. You give the IP address of the command center, and then you can connect in, use the management system. Okay, so here's a summary of our different non-Java solutions. So we have the active KVM client that works on Windows, great solution for that. Other platforms, we have the HTML KVM client. We have the user station for certain types of environments. We have the HTML serial client for a serial console server. We have the new desktop admin client, runs on Windows, doesn't use a browser, and then our standard HTML access client that can use the HTML KVM and Serial client. So they have a variety of different solutions for different environments. Okay, so in the future, Java continues to evolve. So Java 9 is the new Java version. Has some, more security, more capability. The trend there seems to be to embed Java inside of the application, so you don't need Java on the, install it on the PC. We can use it as developers as a kind of a programming language and environment. More powerful browser and computer technologies, right? Technology moves on. The browsers get faster. Can run more sophisticated type of applications. CPUs get faster, et cetera, et cetera. And then, we're going to be looking into more non-browser based applications, or at least give customers the ability to choose whether they want to use a browser or not. So in general, I think we're at a good point now in terms of, where the remote management world is and the different types of solutions available to you. And I think that will only get better in the future, that you'll continue to have secure and productive Java and non-Java solutions. Okay, Again, just to emphasize the kind of solutions that are there in terms of KVM over IP, Serial, centralized remote management, as well as power control and energy monitoring and metering. And then just a slide on some of our different solutions, right? So KX3 is our KVM over IP switch family. The Dominion SX2 is our serial console server family. We have our command center product, which is our centralized management system. We do have a device that's a hybrid device, so it has KVM over IP as well as Serial, and then some other products. So if you're interested in that, you go to our website, check that out, or talk to us about that, and that's it. So hopefully that was useful to you in terms of maybe understanding a little bit better about Java for both, Raritan, and I think similar things would apply to other types of solutions, and just, Java's been keeping you away from remote management. There are good solutions now, both for use of Java as well as not for, not utilizing that.
All right. Well, we're getting a lot of questions, so I think, Richard, we can just dive into that. And remember, that's that Q&A widget on your screen, so continue to submit those as we go through the questions. So this first one is, when Java version 9 comes out, will we need to update anything on our KVM switches?
Okay, so I think that will be vendor specific. So you may have to, or you may want to get the new capabilities there. So you would, we will mention that in our release notes and factor into our firmware updates for the various products.
Okay, this question here is, what is needed to perform remote power cycling?
Okay, so remote power cycling would require the use of an intelligent rack-based PDU. So you would connect the server power to the PDU, and then the PDU has to support a switching type feature where it can switch those outlets on and off by a command received over the IP network. And then you want to connect that to some type of system, be it a KVM type solution or to a power management type system. So our KVM over IP, Serial, and centralized remote management support those capabilities, and there's also a power management system called Power IQ, often offered by Sunbird Software, that is also capable of that power cycling.
Okay, let's move into some other questions here. Can you manage serial devices such as routers with a KVM over IP switch?
So in general, routers are supported via serial console server because their management ports are typically a serial port. But with our Dominion KX3, we do have an accessory product called DSAM, Dominion Serial Access Manager, that can be connected to the KX3 KVM switch that can allow you to manage up to 8 serial ports from the KVM over IP switch.
Okay, let's look at this next one here. What are the top 3 security features provided by your Java-free KVM over IP switch?
Okay. So top 3. So I think the most basic capability is an encrypted KVM session. So we use AES encryption such that that connection between the user and the KVM switch, even though it may be going over LAN, WAN, or even over the internet, is encrypted, and that includes keyboard, video, mouse, and virtual media. So that's a very important capability that we have. Another very important capability that I didn't mention is when you use the KVM switch, you log into it, and so you need a login and password on that switch, and then there's a user group that you belong to, and that determines what permissions you have, basically what equipment you can access and whether you have administrator permissions or not. So that's also a very key part of that. And then also we support LDAP, Active Directory, and Radius, such that you can make use of those mechanisms, which makes it easy to support and integrate the KVM switch in with your in your environment. So those are some of the basic capabilities. I do have a document that goes through, I think over 20 different security features, and we can get you that document in terms of all the various features that we've built into our products over the years.
All right. This next question comes from Black Wolf. This is, what are the minimum requirements necessary for this equipment to operate effectively?
Okay, so minimum requirements. So basically, these are over IP switches. So you'd want to have a standard TCP/IP network that they can run over, which most people do nowadays. You want to have access to a web browser. Either the Java technology or one of the other technologies that are, that I mentioned. But in general, as long as you have a standard kind of environment, modern IT environment, there isn't much in terms of, special types of technologies that you really need to use this equipment. It's kind of standard, networking and, standard operating systems. So probably, most people on the call would have the environment that's required.
All right, this next question comes from Angie. Do you have online product test drives where we can test the functionality?
Actually, we do. So if you go to Raritan.com and go to the the product page for the individual product, you will see a test drive there that you can try out the equipment. I would caution that you are operating over the internet, so who knows what your performance will be, but yes, you can get in there, kick the tires, see how it operates over the internet, but again, your performance will probably be better on your network.
right. Well, those are about all the questions we have for now. And if by chance you submitted a question and we did not address it, remember we'll have a chance to follow up with you after today. Okay, and so another few reminders before we close out. If you stepped away or missed any part of today's session, you will receive an email in a day with a link to view the recording on demand, so look for that. And also remember you can go to that handout section on your screen to get some more links and files. So look at that before you finish out today. And Richard, I believe that's it on questions unless you saw one more in. I think that's about it.
Well, okay.
Oh, go ahead.
I saw one. How many switches can you stack? So, I mean, I can answer that. So it's kind of an interesting question. So typically stacking is used for non-IP type of solutions. So some of our older switches and our non-IP switches use stacking. But the cool thing with the IP solutions is kind of the network is the stack. So you really don't have to stack them. The IP network ties everything together. So it's kind of the cool thing. You don't have to worry about stacking or tiering, right? You just, if you need a new switch for a new rack, you connect it to the rack, connect it to the IP network, and you're kind of good to go. And then the other type of stacking that we have is through the command center management system. So let's say you have 5 racks and 5 KVM over IP switches, right? You connect them all up to the command center. The command center has a single IP address. You connect into that, and then you can connect to all the different servers connected to your 5 KVM switches and not have to know which server is connected to which KVM over IP switch. Just type in the name of the server, and you're good to go. So, if you're not familiar with the IP switches and what they can do, it is pretty amazing technology. We really make use of the network and the flexibility. So it's a lot easier to use than the previous generation of products, and give you a lot of amazing capabilities to allow you to work more productivity.
All right. Well, thanks for covering that, Richard. I will thank you for putting together the content for this great session. I think everyone learned a lot today. And also a special thanks to Raritan for sponsoring this webinar. We hope to see everyone again soon for another SpiceWorks Partner webinar. So until then, we'll look for you, and stay safe and keep it spicy. Take care, all.